Now, sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
Something illusory. And though I can hide my cold,
concept, or I complete them, or I'm gonna make them alive.
If you couldn't tell by the super cool montage at the beginning of this video, today we'll be discussing postmodernist cinema. However, because we are in charge today, we wanted to focus primarily on Black postmodernist film. More specifically, the works of award-winning and critically acclaimed director Jordan Peele. But in order to understand the pure genius behind Peele's work, we must understand one of its most fundamental aspects, postmodernism.
What is postmodernism? Postmodernist film attempts to subvert the mainstream conventions of narrative structure and characterization. It also tests the audience's suspension of disbelief. In other words, it is very experimental and very out there. Marking the beginning of an era for society, including American cinema, postmodernism brought a new artistic style that followed World War II. They tend to mess with the conventional narrative nature of films that we're familiar with today. It can be seen as radical and revolutionary because postmodern films don't abide by traditional narrative expressions. They also combine a wide variety of mediums such as literary and visual arts.
As I said before, we were mainly interested in how this new form of cinema made itself apparent in Black spaces. Furthermore, there really is no way to talk about the history of cinema and postmodernism in America without talking about race. Film as an industry almost rests entirely on exclusion, and the American film industry is covered in it. So, when Jordan Peele, a Black man most commonly known for his ventures in comedy on the network Comedy Central, released a postmodernist, psychological horror movie, specifically one with such complexity and that dealt with such immersive topics, it was a shocker to the entire world. To quote Ryan Pohl, Frederick Jameson defines postmodernism as the attempt to think the present historically in an age that's forgotten to think historically in the first place. Postmodern culture comes into being when capitalism saturates and determines all institutions and discourses. When capitalism colonizes all of social life, history becomes forgotten. Or to use Peele's metaphoric concept, history becomes repressed in the vast underground network between the American everyday. Peele, as a postmodernist director specifically, played with new aspects of directing and editing and blurred lines between dystopianism, realism, and straight mind-boggling horror that honestly had never been passed before. Peele's ability to take aspects of Black culture and American history and turn them into deeply metaphorical, highly focused commentary on the current nature of the Black identity is almost exactly what Jameson describes. Take this example from the movie Us.
Ophelia, call the police.
Sure. Playing Fuck the Police by NWA.
Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. Young nigga got it bad 'cause I'm brown.
Peele's first blockbuster hit was the movie Get Out, and to give a tiny recap, essentially the film is about a Black man who visits his white girlfriend's family for the first time. As the movie progresses, it turns out to be a total nightmare in ways the viewers can't even imagine.
What is your purpose, Chris?
what?
This film has allowed for conversations about race and for non-Black and Black audiences to identify with the characters. What is most interesting to me about the film is the way the shots make you feel like you're in the same position as the characters, and it almost feels like you were in on the experience with them, which is pretty cool.
Get out.
Sorry, man.
Okay. Get out!
Yo!
Yeah!
Yo! Chill, man.
Get out!
Chill!
Chill, man! Chill! Get the fuck out of here!
For his second feature film, Us, another horror movie, focuses on a family and their encounter with mysterious doppelgangers while on vacation. This haunting movie contained some postmodern elements like the distorted reality and the multiple interpretations that were up to the reader or the viewer to decide. Peele does a fantastic job at defying rules and subverting genre conventions and creating intimate moments for the audience because of his incorporation of personal and authentic struggles, which I admire a lot.
Peele's success in the industry allowed for young Black creatives to envision themselves in positions that did not just revolve around comedy or exploitation. and we hope that you're able to see the value just as we
Coming
have.
back to it because I knew if someone let me make this movie, that people would hear it and people would see it. So I want to dedicate this to all the people who raised my voice and let me make this movie.